It's Thursday, October 22nd. Good to see you. And yesterday you took the little assessment, 10-question assessment with the text called Flipped, or it's actually an excerpt from Flipped, which means a piece of text from the whole story. So you only missed one, Maddox, which is great. You missed number 9. So something I'm going to kind of teach you today is called pattern of proof. And this works out well because we're going to use the one that you missed, and I'm going to teach you actually how to do pattern of proof because you're going to have to do this when you come to school next 6 weeks. And Miss Ledger is going to be your language arts teacher for 6th grade, and she has taught the class pattern of proof, or she's in the process of it just like I am. Pattern of proof, or POP. And it is what you do to actually find text evidence in the story that proves your answer, why you chose it. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read this little excerpt of from Flipped out loud, and then we're going to look at number 9 together again, and we're going to talk about why the answer choices may not be correct, and how you can prove the one that you do choose with pattern of proof. Okay? All right. Excerpt from Flipped. When the Loskys' moving van finally arrived, I was so happy I was about to burst. My mother made me wait more than an hour before going over to meet him. "Give them a chance to stretch their legs, Juliana," she said. "They'll want some time to adjust or settle in." So I watched from the window, and every few minutes I'd ask, "Now?" And she'd say, "Give them a little while longer, would you?" Then the phone rang, and the minute I knew she was in deep conversation and preoccupied, I tugged on her sleeve and asked, "Now?" She nodded and whispered, "Okay, but take it easy." I was too excited not to charge across the street, but I did try very hard to be civilized once I got to the moving van. I stood outside looking for a record-breaking length of time, which was hard because there he was, about halfway back, my new, sure-to-be best friend, Bryce Losky. Bryce wasn't really doing much of anything. He was more hanging back, watching his father move boxes onto the liftgate. I remember feeling sorry for Mr. Losky because he looked worn out moving boxes all by himself. When I couldn't stand it any longer, I called, "Hi, my name is Julie Baker. What can I do to help?" into the van, which made Bryce jump. And then, quick as a cricket, he started pushing a box like he'd been working all along. I could tell from the way Bryce was acting so guilty that he was supposed to be moving boxes, but he was sick of it. He'd probably been moving things for days. The sun was beating down on the moving van, and Bryce was sweating. It was easy to see he needed a rest. He needed some juice, something. It was also easy to see that Mr. Losky wasn't about to let him quit. He was going to keep on moving boxes around until he collapsed or passed out. And by then, Bryce might be dead before he'd had the chance to move in. The tragedy of it catapulted me, which caused me to leap into the moving van. I had to help. I had to save him. When I got to his side to help him shove a box forward, the poor boy was so exhausted, which means he was worn out, that he just moved aside and let me take over. Mr. Losky didn't want me to help, but at least I saved Bryce. I'd been in the moving van all of 3 minutes when his dad sent him off to help his mother unpack things inside the house. "Hey, wait for me," I called after Bryce as I chased him up the walkway, and that's when everything changed. You see, I caught up to him and grabbed his arm, trying to stop him so maybe we could play a little before he got trapped inside. And next thing I know, he's holding my hand, looking right into my eyes. My heart stopped. It just stopped beating. And for the first time in my life, I had that feeling. You know, like the world is moving all around you, all beneath you, all inside you, and you're floating in midair. And the only thing keeping you from drifting away is the other person's eyes. They're connected to yours by some invincible physical force, and they hold you fast while the rest of the world swirls and twirls and falls completely away. I almost got my first kiss that day, I'm sure of it. But then his mother came out the front door and he was so embarrassed that his cheeks turned completely red, and the next thing you know, he's hiding in the bathroom. Okay, cute story. So, number 9 is the one question that you missed. And it says, which of the following best describes Julie's main conflict in the story? First of all, another word for conflict is problem. Okay? So when you have a problem, it's something that you are struggling with and you want to solve it. Okay? So let's talk about the answer choices. D, she wants to be great friends. I go from D to A. I go from D to A because it causes your brain to naturally want to finish going up the list versus if you start from A going down, you're less likely to finish the list because if you find one that's correct, you'll stop looking. Okay, so we're going to start with D and go up. D, she wants to be great friends with Bryce, but obstacles or problems continue to get in her way. Well, she did mention that she wants to be friends. He was going to be her new BFF. And lots of things keep standing in her way from getting to know him. So let's not rule this one out. I'm going to put a question mark. C, she wants to help the new neighbors, but her mom makes her wait. This is true. However, eventually her mom lets her go, right? And that's not her main problem. The problem revolves around wanting to get to know Bryce. It's not about staying at home with her mom waiting at the beginning of the story. That's just the beginning. So this is not her main problem. I'm going to put X. B says she wants to play with Bryce, but he has work to do. She does mention one time that she wanted to play with him before he had to go inside. But I don't know that that's her full problem because it talks about how she wants to be friends with him, not just wants to play with him, because she didn't mention the play part until the very end of the story. So I'm not sure about this one. A, she wants Bryce to kiss her, but he runs away. This is not even in the text. It's not even true. She's excited because she thought she might have gotten her first kiss, but that's not what she wanted all along. She never even mentioned it until Bryce kind of made a move on her. Okay. So we're left with B and D. Okay. She wants to play with Bryce, but he has work to do. Let's look at B. So let's go back up to the story right here. Okay. Right here in this paragraph, I'm going to highlight this. You see, I caught up to him and grabbed his arm, trying to stop him so maybe we could play a little before he got trapped inside. So yes, it mentions that, but has she mentioned this as her problem, or has this become a problem for her from the beginning? I don't think so. Okay, so let's not rule this one out, but let's not pick it yet either. Okay, because you want to find 3 ways that you can prove that your answer is correct. And you can usually find a pattern, something that they have in common, as your proof that it is correct. Okay? As far as her wanting to play with him, this is the only thing I see in regards to the word play. Okay? I don't know that there's any other place in the story, especially 2 other places, because I need 3 pieces of proof that I can actually pull out and use. Okay? So let's look at D. She wants to be great friends with Bryce, but obstacles, problems continue to get in her way. And this is more of a general statement. It's not specific to a certain incident. So if we go back up to the top, I know that she mentions that he's going to be her new best friend. Okay, so we're going to highlight this yellow. Okay, that's one way that it mentions new best friend. Okay. But what are some issues that stand in her way? Okay. So we keep looking. She mentions that she tries to help him but he is too tired, and she kind of saves him from moving boxes. And Mr. Losky didn't want her helping. And it says it right here. When I got to his side to help him shove a box forward, the poor boy was so exhausted, worn out, that he just moved aside and let me take over. Mr. Losky didn't want me to help, but at least I saved Bryce. I'd been in the moving van all of 3 minutes when his dad sent him off. So she still can't be his friend because dad sent him off, right? Okay. So let's look at this little paragraph here. This kind of goes along with our pattern. Okay. Then, she has a moment with Bryce, and his mother comes out the front door, and he's so embarrassed that he begins to go hide. So everything she's trying to do with Bryce, even the playing part, wanting to go play with him, everything she's trying to do with Bryce to become her friend, there's something that stands in her way. Mom, dad, getting embarrassed, having to move boxes. So there are several different things that keep her from spending time with Bryce and getting to know him. Okay. So that is truly your pattern of proof why D is your correct answer. Okay. So D is the correct answer, not B, because B is one specific problem, one specific detail, one minor detail that it mentions one time. And there's no 3 pieces of proof. There's no pattern that show or prove that B is the answer. So we're going to highlight this orange for Halloween that's coming up. And this is the correct answer, D. You chose B, which I can see that because we had a question mark next to B, but it's only that one snippet of information, and there's no 3 ways that we can prove it. So let's look at our pattern of proof. So if you have a pattern of proof, you got to find 3 ways to prove why you chose the answer that you did. Okay. The first one is that she wants Bryce to be her new best friend. My new sure-to-be best friend, Bryce Losky. That's my first pattern of proof. Okay. My second, okay, is when she'd been in the moving van all of 3 minutes, and dad sent him away, so she can't spend time with him. Okay, and my third piece of proof is that his mom came out the front door whenever they were about to kiss, and he got embarrassed. So these are 3 pieces of information or text evidence that I can use to prove my answer is D. Okay. She wants to be great friends with Bryce. Yes, she said it out loud. My new sure-to-be best friend, Bryce. But obstacles continue to get in her way. Yes, dad doesn't want her to help him move. Bryce is trying to move boxes. Dad sends him inside to go help his mother. He finally has a moment with her, and mom interrupts them. So, she keeps having these issues that she can't just spend time with Bryce and get to know him as a friend. So that is why D is the answer. And that is my pattern of proof right here, the yellow highlighted part. Okay. So I'm going to attach this to today's Google Classroom. And that way you can refer back to it. And make sure you pay attention to the pattern of proof part, because that'll come up again. And we'll continue practicing this, and you'll practice it as well when you come to school face-to-face. I will talk to you later, and have a great afternoon.